Hello everyone and welcome to AGCAD's webinar Manage and Assess Your Revit Content with Smart Browser Manage. Before I start, I want to make sure that everyone can hear me and can see my screen, so please raise your hands. You can do that in the GoToWebinar dialog on the right side of your monitor. Thank you everyone for raising your hands. As I understand, you can hear me and can see my screen. If you will have any questions during the webinar, you can write them down in the GoToWebinar dialog under questions, and in the end of the webinar, I will try to answer them. And now I can introduce myself. My name is Eve, and I'm an architect and BIM consultant at AGCAD. Our mission is building BIM together, which means that we align our clients' needs and develop solutions for continuous BIM acceleration. Our promise to clients is reducing BIM stress. We help to eliminate tasks that do not create value. So what is this webinar about? In this webinar, I will show you Smart Browser Manage. It adds or changes BIM object parameters and values based on rules, eliminating the error-prone manual task of updating Revit families. So you can quickly and easily find Revit families in your libraries by parameter names, values, versions, host types, and so on. Modify parameters of multiple families in one go. Automatically sort and number families using specific rules. This is a completely new feature because recently we implemented the sort mark tool to the Smart Browser. Then you will be able to modify materials of many selected families simultaneously, add, modify, or delete family types, add new share parameters or family parameters, then transfer family units from one family to another, and keep your library and project up to date. You can check the changes and synchronize your library with the project. And recently, Smart Browser Manage was updated. So you can see here how it used to look like and how it looks like now. So you can download it. You can update it in the dock or download a trial version, and you will see that the Smart Browser Manage has now an enhanced user interface. Also, you will be able to load multiple families or family types in one go, change view to a different size of thumbnail or list. Then also you will be able to dock the Smart Browser window in Revit, just like the Revit Properties or Project Browser windows. Also automatically sort and number families using specific rules. As I mentioned, we have the sort mark now, so that's what it's for. Okay, and in general, Smart Browser Manage is an independent family content browser and manager that allows you to easily and quickly search, modify, and place families into the project, group them, overview their parameters, then modify them if needed, and find differences between your library and the project. The main benefits is that you can easily control the process, prevent errors, and keep your families in your project up to date. So to summarize, you'll save a lot of time by eliminating the need of modifying families manually. And now let's go ahead and open a Revit project with the Smart Browser Manage. Okay, so first of all, the first functionality is the Smart Browser Manage, which opens this dockable window. So now I've turned it off. And if I will turn it on, yeah, you can see that now it's dockable, just like the properties or the project browser. And it opens the browser with predefined families from the library. It works independently from Revit project, so it's not necessary to close the Smart Browser dialog when working in your projects. Right here, you are able to choose an XML file. So you can see that now I have a couple of XML files. Basically, these are the libraries that are already created using Smart Browser Manage. So I can choose a different library if I want to and use a different one. Yeah, and now I can see the families from this library. So when the element is selected, Smart Browser Manage shows all family types, then also parameter names, groups, values, units, formulas, and so on. You can see in the color gray we have type parameters, white ones are instance parameters, then the yellow ones are locked. You can see there's a formula added to them. And also we have blue parameters, which are shared. So I think I have some right here. Yeah, this is a shared parameter, and so on. Then we can also, as I mentioned, in the newest version, change the view to smaller thumbnails or to a list. I can go back to thumbnails now, and then right here you can also see some new functionality. But before that, let's take a look at the browser organization, because we can organize the families in many different ways. For example, I can organize them by the folder and the family name, and I will see the original folder that these families are added to in my computer location. Then also we can sort them out by the host type. So for example, I will see the category, then the host type, because sometimes it's hard to understand what is the host of the family just by looking into the image. And then I'll have the family name. So now you can see that, for example, the lighting fixtures now are grouped: face-based, point-based, and wall-based. And also we can group this tree by any kind of element parameter. So for example, if you have in your company a special parameter for classification, some sort of a code or something like that, you can choose that parameter here, and then Smart Browser Manage will sort the families by your custom parameter. Okay, so now I will think I'll leave it at, I'll choose also a family type right here, and yeah, for now I will leave it like this. Yeah, so it needs a little bit more time to generate the thumbnails for each family type, and here we go. So also we have some new functionality right here down below. Previously we were able to only load a family or a family type, a single family or a single family type. But now we can load multiple families or multiple types simultaneously, and we have a few ways of doing that. So it's really flexible. For example, now I can select a door, I can choose a type. Well, this one has, oh, these are types. Okay, so I will maybe for this example, I will turn off the types so that I would see only the families themselves. Yeah, now I can see the families. So you can see that I could just very easily take this door and drag and drop it into the project. But it was, yeah, it's here. Yeah, and that's it. I can use it. So I can choose a type that I want to load, and I can drag and drop it, just like previously. Also, I can open this family. So it will open in Revit family editor mode, and then also I can load selected family types. So I can turn on the family type, and right here you can see all families. I can also collapse all or expand all, so I can see that I can choose, for example, like this, the family types. Yeah, I can choose from this window, or I can choose them right here. Now let's say these. So I can choose, let's say, only these family types, and then select them and simply load the selected family types. And that's it. The tool will load only these types that are selected, and that's it. They're already here in my project, you can see. And also I can do it in a different way. I can choose the types to load. So let's say if I select several different family types and check choose types to load, it shows me a table where each family is listed, So I can load the whole family with all of its family types, or I can choose individual types and then load them. Then also we can load selected families, of course, so the same as with the types, it will load multiple families at the same time, and we can preview them. So I can open a free view where I will be able to see the family in a 3D view or elevation front or exterior, so I can take a look how the family is created. Okay, and before all of this, actually, we have to set up the library. So my library is already set up. It's really a simple process. It needs to be done only one time for one library. One user from the company can set up the library and everyone else can just browse to it. So let's take a look how to set up this library. We'll need to go to the browser organization right here. And first of all, we need to add a new family folder from your computer or server. So it locates the folder containing your Revit library files. I will actually open this library so that it would be easier to understand. This is my library that is mapped right now. So you can see that this is the folder. Yeah, this is it. And in the library folder, I have all my Revit families. Then we have browser data storage location. So browse the right here you need to browse the folder where the XML file with the library database will be placed. So it can be placed on a network server or for access by multiple users or on a local computer location. So right now I mapped this folder right here, and that is why the XML file with this name that I entered was created in this folder. So you can see that the XML file that was created by the tool is placed right here, and it contains all of the information regarding the families. So the tool read all of this information and created an XML file. And finally, we need to select a folder for the thumbnails and the 3D files to be created. So the tool also does that automatically. This folder can be empty before selecting it. And then that's it. We click on Start, and it starts to create an XML file which uploads families from your computer or server to the browser. During the new XML file creation, the extension opens every family from the library, reads all of its information like types, parameter names, values, categories, host types, and creates a picture, PNG, and a free DWF file, if it is selected in the configuration. So creating the XML file can take a considerable amount of time depending on the size of the library. So it's recommended that a fast computer would be used to create the XML file. And also, as we mentioned, the process needs to be done using only one machine in the company. Everyone else can access it and use it. And when creating the XML file, we are not making any changes to the families. We're only reading the information. The tool opens the family, reads the information, and closes it, and that's it. And then we have a synchronize option. So if there are changes made in this library, let's say another user opens this library and modifies the family, the tool will see the modification, and right here I will get a warning that the library that is shown by the Smart Browser Manage is not up to date to the actual library. So we need to synchronize the changes, and I will show you in a moment how it's done. Yeah, and that's it. All of that is set up, and I have this library opened right now in my Smart Browser Manage. So now let's try and modify something. For example, I will open Windows, and I will filter them out by category and family. Okay, now let's see the windows. Yeah, so you can see that for some reason there is a door right here, and it's not a mistake of the tool. Actually, the family has a wrong category assigned to it, so it's a mistake in the family, and we will fix that with the Smart Browser Manage. You can see how easy it is to review all of the information. And right here I have a round opening, so let's try to open this family. And I don't have to even do that with the manage, with the Smart Browser Manage. I could just do it in Revit. Open a family and modify it. It would work the same way. And let's say that I will create a new type. Let's say new type round. This will be the name of my type, and I will delete these. Yeah, so I have this type created. Okay. And I will save this family. So now the modification was made in the original library that can be placed on a server for the whole company. And if I would select this window, you can see that changes were not made. I don't have my new type round, and these are still here. That is because we need to synchronize, as I mentioned. So if I would open browser options, you can see that now I have this mark near the synchronize option. It tells me that the family library was updated, and it's not up to date with the information I'm seeing in my Smart Browser Manage window. So I can click on synchronize, enter the name of the person who's modifying, then a short description and some notes if needed. And now it will find the change. So one element out of 164 elements that are in the library was updated. Okay. And now we can check if the changes were made. And yeah, you can see that those older types are deleted now, and I have my new type round created in the family, so everything is up to date. And also we can modify the families with the Smart Browser Manage. So I just created a new type like I would normally create it in Revit, but I can select some families that I want to modify, and I can modify it with the Smart Browser Manage. So let's see that I will select these families and click on Modify Families. Enter a modification name. So I will see that window parameters modification, person modified, short description and some notes. Okay. And now you can see a window where I can modify the families. So I have a list of all families that I selected. Each type is listed in a separate row, and you can see that the type names are not consistent. I don't even know what's written in here. Then I don't have the cost, the description is empty, manufacturers again, a mess. Then I have the type comments. So I can add more parameters right here to this table, and I can group them differently. Also in the colors, you can see the parameters that are displayed. If the values will be changed, they will be green and so on. So first of all, let's take a look at the select parameters window. You can see here that you can add more parameters to this table, or you can remove these if you don't need them. So maybe I don't need the type comments, so I can remove it. I can add, let's see, a share parameter code. Then I can add a number and this one. Then of course the height and the width, and I will also add a material. Okay, a material parameter. And also I can rearrange them. So I will move the height and the width up. And then also I will keep everything as is. Yeah, and that's it. You can see that I have now the width, the height, and all of the other parameters that I selected. Now let's take a look at the configure grouping. So in this table right here, I can group my families, just like in the Smart Browser window. So right now they're grouped by category, family, and type in the tree and in this table right here. And now I will leave it as is, but just know that you can group them differently. Also, you can use selected parameters right here, and you will be able to see all of the parameters that are selected in this table. So you can group the families by a certain code or number that you use in your company. Okay, and now let's see what we can do in this window, how we can modify the families. So we can do actually a lot of things. We can change the values, copy them, rename families, change categories, and add family and shared parameters, and so on, and filter these families by a number of different ways. So let's start from the beginning. Let's change the value. It's quite simple. It's a quite simple functionality. I just need to click on change value. Okay, and that's it. The manufacturer is changed. Oh, okay, like this. Then we can copy the value to another column. So maybe I will change the value also for the cost. So yeah, we're entering a cost. Previously it was 0. So now we're filling in the cost. And I can copy this parameter to another field. So maybe I need the cost to be written into the description for some reason. So I can copy the value to description, and that's it. Now it's here. I can also rename the family. So if I want to rename it, let's say I will keep only the age here. And that's it. The family is renamed. You can see all new values are green. Then also we can add new types. If I think that I need more types for this family, and I don't have to worry about the type name, I will show you later that we can rename them all by certain rules. So I can just add new types. A couple of new types were added. I will change the width. Let's see, this will be 500. And this one will be 800. Okay, and change other values if needed. Then I can also add, let's see, right now you can see that the door family, yeah, it has a wrong category. It has window category. So remember that it has now 2 types. So I will rename this family so we would see it in the modified door. Okay, and I will add a new type for it. Add type. Okay, so now it has 3 types. And you can see all of the families again here. I added some types, modified the door, and I want to renumber all of the types so that the names would be consistent. And maybe I want to renumber them by their width and their height. So I will do that. I will just select all of them, rename type by rule, and I will say that I want to write the width and then the height, add a suffix for both of them. Okay, and that's it. The types were renamed and now they're all correct and consistent. So my library is starting to look much better. We can also add selected parameters. So maybe this parameter is very important for all of my families, the shared parameter, but some of the families don't have it. So I can just select the families where I can see that this parameter is not created and just use add selected parameters like this. We can also add a shared parameter. So I can open it and select the material, a parameter that I want to add. And that's it. Now you can see it's added only for this family because I selected only this one, but I can very easily add it for all of them. And that's it. Then maybe, for example, the code, maybe I don't need the code, so I can just decide that I want to remove this parameter, and it will be displayed in red, and I won't have this parameter in my family anymore. And also I will add the number. Okay, so I removed this one, added all of these, and I have this frame material, and this is a door, so maybe I don't need this parameter for the door. Maybe I need it for only for the windows. So I will keep this empty, and also I can change the material. So if I would click on change value on a material parameter, you'll see that I will be able to choose from the materials and choose a different one. Oh, this is the same one. So I will choose, let's see, this one. Okay. And the material was changed. I can change it for several families at the same time as well, like this. So now we also wanted to change the category of this family, of this door family, that is now displayed as a window. So it's very simple. I will just click on, where is it? Modify category, sorry. And I will say that it's a door. And that's it. Now you can see that I have another branch in my family tree, and right now this element knows that it's a door, and it's a modified door with 3 types and correct parameter values. Okay, so now I will save this modification. So we did not modify the families yet, we only created tasks. So now you can see that the changes were not made yet. The window, the type names are all wrong. I still have this door for some reason under the window category. So the information is not consistent yet. Yeah, the cost is not here. It's 0 still. The manufacturer is not the one that I wrote in. So let's run these changes. Now I'd have to use run saved modifications for the changes to be applied. But actually, I want to modify the families again because maybe I forgot to do something. And that is not a problem because when I select on modify families, you see all of the tasks that I made. And I can open it again. You see, this is the one that we just worked on. I can just open it again. And that's it. I can see the same table and I can change something else. So let's say that for this door, I will add subcategories. So I will use create subcategories, and the list of subcategories come from an external text file that can be very easily modified. And right here I have my categories, doors, and I will add all of these subcategories into the family automatically. Okay, and that's it. So I remembered that I forgot something, got back, made the modification, and now I will run it. And it will take some time to run the modification because now the tool is opening each family, and if the family has a type catalog, it also opens the type catalog and changes that. So now it's making the physical change to the families. Now they will be modified in the external library. Still, it's not affecting the project in any way, my Revit project and the families that are in my Revit project, but it's creating those changes in the XML files, so in the libraries. It opens each family, reads it, changes all of the information and closes it. And it takes more time if the families are heavy, which they are in my case because I'm using families with type catalogs. So you can see that now it will open each family catalog. You can see the type names are still all wrong for this family. This is the type name, I think, or no, this is the material. Yeah, but still it will open each family or the family type catalog and modify everything that I created in that window. Okay, now let's go back and see what changes were made. So let's go to the windows, and you can see that I don't have the door anymore under the window category. Let's take a look right here. You can see that this door, I renamed it to modified door, is now under the door category, and yeah, the cost is filled in. Also, the manufacturer parameter value was changed. All of these shared parameters were added to the door, and also, yeah, everything else is also okay. Now let's go back to the windows. You remember the type names were not correct, so now I have all of the new types created and the new ones and the older ones renamed by the rule that I added, by the width and the height. Also, let's take a look at the parameter values. Yeah, again, you can see all of the shared parameters are added. Also, we filled in the manufacturer. Yeah, this is the value that I wrote in. And also what else we did? Yeah, we filled in the cost. And this modification was made to all of my selected families. So now they're updated in the library. Another feature that we can take a look at is the ability to see family units that are used in the project. So now, for example, if I would change the family units that are used in the project to feet and fractional in inches instead of millimeters, okay? And I can change all of these as well. Square feet, let's say, and cubic feet, okay. Now in the modifier window, I will see these values, the values of the parameters displayed in the units that I selected in my project. So now I will visit structural framing, and let's say that I will, yeah, I modified these, I think, structural columns maybe. Yeah, let's take a look at these. So now all of these values are okay and correct, but let's say I want to rename them to imperial units. So I will modify these families. Modification name, homes, let's say, and imperial. Okay. Person name, description, notes. Okay, now you see all of the type names. Again, I'm sure that these families use type catalogs because you can see how many types two families have. So I can configure, no, actually I will select parameters. I will remove these, I don't need them, and open the D and the B parameters. Okay. And you can see that the parameter values are displayed in the units that I just selected in my project. So now if I want these families to convert them to imperial families, let's say, I can select this column and I can rename type by the rule. Let's see, add this. Okay. And that's it. Now they have completely new type names. I can save it. And again, run the same saved modification so that the changes would be applied to these families, because I just created tasks right now. I have not modified the actual families. Okay, so 2 elements were modified. And let's take a look at the columns. I think it was this one. Yeah, you can see the dimensions are in metric, but I have the names in imperial units. So quickly, like that, I just modified that. But as I mentioned, the actual units in the family were not changed. So how to do that? I will demonstrate that with the lightning fixtures, for example. I will open a family of a lightning fixture, and I will modify. Oh, I want to open the family itself, and I will modify the units of this family. So I'll go to modify, project units, and see that the length is not centimeters, it's, let's see, millimeters. Okay, the area is square meters, not centimeters, and the volume is cubic meters, and so on. Okay, now I will save this family and I will use it as a template family so that all units from this one would be transferred to the ones that I have in my library. So I will use transfer family units and select this folder with my lightning fixtures. And it's somewhere here, library, lightning. Okay, and now I have to select the family that which units will be transferred. So this is the family that I just modified. Yeah, we can delete the backup files, and that's it. Now it's transferring the family units from the lightning fixture to all of these that I have in my library. And that's it. All elements were modified. So now finally I will show you the sort mark. So this is actually a really powerful tool that lets you to sort and number elements by a number of different ways. So you can write in your classification numbers, your codes to the elements that you use in your company, and that should be basically consistent throughout the whole project, because previously SortMark, we were able to use SortMark only on elements that are actually used in the project, on element instances. But now we can number the elements that are in the external library. So that's really helpful and powerful feature. Let's take a look how it works. Let's go to the windows. And you remember that when I modified them, I added, this window was not in the modification, I added shared parameters. So let's fill in, for example, this number parameter for all of my windows. So I already created it automatically with the Smart Browser Manage Modify in the Modify window. And now I will use the sort mark. So first of all, we need to choose the category. And I will choose the window. So these are the categories that are now opened in my Smart Browser Manage. And now I need to select the parameter which I want to fill in with the value. So you remember I mentioned about the numbers, so this is it, type shared parameter. I will select this one. And now I have to create a rule. So all of these rules, they can be saved and used in the future. So we need to create them only one time, basically. And I already created something here. I don't need to group elements by any kind of way, for example, in this situation, but we could group the windows, for example, by their, I don't know, what we can group them by their host, let's say. So all of the windows that are located should be located in a wall would have a W before them, and all windows that are in the roof, like skylights, they can have R written in them, and so on. So we can just group elements by something. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's say if we would group them by their host, then all of the elements that are in the wall would be calculated from number one. And if they're located in another host, again, it would start from number one, so it would not continue. It will make a different group for numbering. Then we can filter some elements out if we don't need to number them. For example, we can filter out by the host. Maybe I want to number only the windows that should be located in the walls. Then we could sort them, and finally we can number them. So now it's fine. I want to number them by their type name, so we can just select parameters to use for the numbering on this side and add them here. So this will be numbered by their type name. So if the type name is different, it will have a different mark, basically. And right here, we can create a sort mark value. So first of all, I can choose the sort mark number calculated. This is a value that is created by the sort mark tool. It creates the number, because now I'm numbering by the type. So if a type has a different name, it will have number 1, then a different name number 2, different name number 3, and so on. Or letters. I can choose letters, but I will choose digits, 2 digits, let's say, and the prefix will be, let's say, 2, W, then a dash, and then a percentage sign. Okay? And that's it. Now the tool found 10 windows, 10 elements of the category window. You can see them all right here. And it's writing in the value into the number parameter. But remember that not all windows has that parameter. We modified only a couple of these. So I will probably have a message that will tell me that not all windows have this parameter, so it was unable to number them. Yes, as I mentioned, we modified only 5 families previously. So now 5 families has the number and 5 doesn't have it, but that's not an issue at all. I could have just modified all of them, but I want to save our time. And now let's take a look at these windows. And they have a number values. Remember, I added 2 double W's, then a dash, and a calculated number containing 2 digits, and then a percentage sign. So yeah, this one doesn't have the number. This one has a different value. This one again has a different value. And also another fun thing to do is to number the doors by their function. For example, I will now organize them by their function. So I don't have this parameter value here, so I'll need to click on element parameters and find the function. It's here. I will group the elements by it. Do it like this: category, function, type, family name. Okay. And now let's find the doors. So you can see that now I have my exterior doors and I have my interior doors. So I can number all of them with the sort mark. So let's say I'll go to the door category again using the sort mark, and I want to write in the parameter value to, let's say, description field. And I have a default configuration here, so I will duplicate it and let's say rename it for the future. I will say that I want to number the doors. Door number exterior doors. Okay. And I will not group them. I don't need to group them. I need to filter them. So I will filter by the function. The function should be equal to exterior. Okay, where is it? Yeah, here it is, equals exterior. Then I will sort them by the width, that's fine. Number them by the type name, that's also fine. And then add a calculated sort mark value. Like previously, it's created automatically with the tool. And as I'm numbering only exterior doors right now, in the prefix, I will write that these are exterior doors, and then I'll have a sort marks calculated number containing 2 digits. Save it for the future. And remember, we're writing into the description, okay? And that's it. Now I'll have my doors renumbered. Okay, that's it. Let's take a look at the exterior doors. For some reason, oh, it's your function type. Okay. Yeah, the doors, exterior. And remember, we wrote in the description. Yeah, and you can see that this one is exterior number 8. This one is exterior number 2, number 6, number 4, and so on. So now all of the modifications that we made to the families were saved only on the external library. So we created those tags for the XML file, then we ran them, and all of the modifications were made to the external library that is selected right here. But another great feature also is to synchronize all of those changes with our project, because when I added those families, they were not modified and the changes were not made to the project. So using this feature, you can always make sure that the families in your older projects and in your current projects are up to date, because you can check and update families from the library. So now I can use check and update families from the library. Select the library that I want to check right here with the project. And when I press start checking, it finds all of the changes that I made. You can see to the windows and maybe to the other families today or earlier. It shows me the values that were changed, the type names, and so on. And now I can reload the families and I can override their parameter values. So now the changes were made, and I am sure that they were applied to the families in the project. For example, this window, you remember we have filled in the manufacturer. Now it has a number, parameter value, and so on, and the type names are correct, and I think this is the family in my project. So we can take a look that the type name is fine. Also the manufacturer was changed, and the number that I added with the sort mark is also here, as well as all other added shared parameters. Another great feature in the Smart Browser Manage tool is the Project Browser, where you can check all of your families that you have not in an external library but in your project, because in Revit's Project Browser we cannot see, of course, the thumbnails of the families and so on, and right here we can see all of the families that are in the project. And what is nice about it is that we can very easily transfer these families if we need to another project. For example, I can create right now a new project in Revit. I can, let's say, draw a wall. Then I can open the project browser window. And you can see that right now I can choose a project which families I want to view. So of course I'll choose the project that I was working on previously, not the current one. And let's say I will choose a window from that project, the type that I need, and just simply drag and drop it. And then place it, and that's it. Now I will quickly go back to the slides. Okay, so quickly, the difference between Smart Browser Manage that you saw today and the Power and the Simple. Okay, when you put a library in a server, the Power user can create an XML file, can create his own library, and he can synchronize it to the server. So the Simple user, he can use the created library that was created by the Power or Manage user, so he can find it in the server, he can access it, and he can use it uh, just like he can browse the families and then drag and drop them to the project and load them and so on. He can only use it. And the Manage version, Manage user, he has the same possibilities with the library as a Power user, plus the possibility to modify the family. So all of those modifications that I made today are only available for the Manage user. Again, he can create the XML files, he can modify them, synchronize them, uh, just like I mean the only one. He can modify them. Only him can. So let's say that a company has 800 Revit users. About 10 users can have the Power version, then about 3 users can have the Manage version, and other ones can have the Simple version. It's unlimited for the office. So the main difference between Simple and Power user is visible in the browser options window. The Simple user can only select the XML file, so a library that was created by the Power Manage user, and that's it. You can't create your own library, you can't synchronize it, you can just browse to the existing one, and that's it, and use it. And then the Power user, you can see that it has the same thing that I showed you today as the Manage user has. He can create his own library, browse the location, then synchronize it, see all of the changes. And the Manage user has all of that as well, plus the possibility to modify the families. So now I encourage you all to download a free trial. All of you who already has Smart Browser Manage, go ahead and update it from the Tools for BIM doc. And those of you who don't, download a trial. Just go to ajcat.com, download the Tools for BIM doc, then fill in the form that is requested, and that's it. Now don't run away, all of you who had some questions or the ones who want to hear the answers to other questions. Now I'll try to answer them, but for the rest of you, thank you for attending this webinar. I hope that you found out something new and beneficial, and I hope to see you in the future webinars. Have a nice day.
AGA CAD, building BIM together.